to the divorce discussion series. For couples with children considering a divorce, the decision to uncouple can become more difficult to make. To help provide support to parents in making the best decision for themselves and their family, I invited Sabrina Garson, a LCSW and PPSC, to have a divorce discussion with me. Sabrina is an expert child, adolescent, and adult psychotherapist with a private practice in Southern California. Sabrina helps individuals walk through their challenges and find ways to come out of these challenges healthier on the other side. In this divorce discussion, I asked Sabrina what every parent probably wants to know. Will my children be okay if I get a divorce? I also asked Sabrina how parents can support their children when they do finally make a decision that divorce is right for their family. So let's just start with it's when a parent is walking through a divorce, one of the biggest things that they have as a fear, or maybe they are considering maybe not divorcing, and it's, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to the kids? What is this impact? I'm so fearful. I know that this is terrible, and there's a stigma around it. So can you talk to us from that global level of divorce, impact on the kids, et cetera?
Sure. Well, I think that when people are going through anything that's difficult, they think, they worry how that particular thing is going to impact their kids, themselves, those around them. And so the same thing I imagine is happening in a situation with divorce is parents tend to think, this is going to ruin my child's life, or like how are they ever going to get through this? This is destroying us. But we forget that we all have challenges. Like we all have things that happen in our lives that are going to not be easy. And some people are dealing with divorce. Some people are dealing with a loss like death of a parent or someone close to them, a sibling. Some people, right, like we see some people have to deal with war, some people, right? So there are all these different challenges, and divorce just happens to be the one that is happening in your family, at that time. I think the biggest piece of what parents want for their kids is for them to be able to grow up and be happy, like be able to live independent, fully functioning lives and be able to navigate all the challenges life presents.
Is there an impact to kids because of a divorce? And I think you just started to say it's an event in your family life or in your child's life, but everybody has events.
Yes, exactly. And so the impact is really more about how you, what they learn from those around them in terms of how to cope with the events. So if we're going to think of divorce as an event that might occur in a child's life where they have to kind of experience the process, the question really is, what are they learning from those closest to them in terms of how to navigate it? And what does divorce mean? And so I think that that's really their ability to cope with it is going to be dependent on what they're learning around them.
Okay, so I'm going to push back or not push back, but I'm going to restate in a different way. So what I hear you saying is divorce, death, war, as it's so apparent right now, COVID, being locked down. I mean, everybody are events in kids' lives.
Mm-hmm.
How the parents, one, both together or separate,
help the child process through that event is how well the child will come out on the other end.
Correct.
Okay, so now how do parents help them process? What does that look like? How do parents help their child? What do they do to help their child process through so they come out healthy on the other end, like you said? What is it?
Right. So we know that what kids learn, well, what people learn is 95% what's modeled to them and 5% what is, verbalized to them. That's why the whole do as I say, not as I do kind of thing, bad advice, doesn't work ineffective because that's not how we learn. And so what, I think the biggest question is how do you want your child as an adult, if you're imagining them as an adult, how do you want them to be able to navigate challenges? So that means challenges with their peers, with a boss, when they're sad and they have to, make food so they can eat and function. Like, how do you want them to be able to do things? So the question comes back to parents in terms of how do you help get your child from taking them home from the hospital that very first day to being able to be a healthy, happy, functioning adult who is okay, realizes that they're going to have different feelings. Some moments are going to be sad, some are going to be angry, some are going to be joyful. Like we go through all of these different feelings, and that they're all part of the human experience. At the same time, that they cope with those feelings in a way that's going to be more helpful than hurtful. That they're not going to lash out at people where they're going to get sent home from their job because they didn't talk to their coworkers or their boss in an appropriate way, or that they didn't, on the opposite end, just stay in bed all day because they were sad, and then lose their job, kind of thing. You want them to be able to be independent in a sense, right? And we weren't meant to operate in this world by ourselves,
right?
And I think that's part of why COVID, like quarantine, was also very challenging, because we're accustomed to using people to help us, and we were separated from them in a lot of ways, and really had to kind of navigate that so that we weren't feeling alone. You don't want your child to grow up to be so independent that they don't know how to access support. But it sounds like you want them to have the tools to recognize when they might need help and who to ask.
I love the way Sabrina frames up one of the biggest dilemmas many parents have when they're thinking about divorce. Will my kids be okay? Sabrina has such a wonderful way of listening and then helping get to the root of issues to help all of her clients make tremendous healing strides. If you are interested in learning more about Sabrina Garson, please reach out to me and I'll get you in contact with her.